joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Phil. Can you please get us started with opening remarks?
Morning, guys. 8:15 here, guys. So I've got up early for you, Michelle, this morning. Well, we arrived here yesterday. A couple of things really is that my first ever road trip with the players, and it's I got told today it's into Miami's first ever road trip where we've been on the road for more than the obviously day before a game travel. So it's come late in the season where it's a great time for us just to spend some time together on and off the pitch, more off the pitch more than anything. We went out for a meal last night. And when you have situations like this, you tend to find out things about players that you don't just find out when you're just in the training ground doing the your normal routine. So I found that really beneficial last night, particularly coming after the defeat on Wednesday, which was disappointing, but there was a lot of positive to take from the game. The weather here in Portland is just like Manchester. It's rainy, it's cold. Well, it's probably not cold, but it's cold compared to Miami. So we'll be wrapping up for training this morning. In terms of the squad, we're beginning to look more like what we need and what we want in terms of Figal, Gregory, both available for the game on Sunday. Touch wood, hopefully Joa comes through training today for the first time, which he'll be hopefully available for some kind of minutes on Sunday, whether that's from the start or from the bench. And we didn't pick up any real injuries or knocks and bruises from playing on the AstroTurf on Wednesday night. So I feel as if the squad is in probably a really good shape because they took a lot of confidence from the game on Wednesday night. We know the areas that we need to keep improving on. The quality and composure in the final third is something that I thought it ultimately cost us the points on Wednesday night. The composure to play the extra pass, the composure to put the ball in the back of the net. And we're coming up against a team that's on a fantastic run that plays a real transition type counter-attacking system where they'll sit deep, and they've got such speed in wide areas. They've got a number 10 and a number 9 who've got real quality, and they've got energy and organisation all over the field. So we're playing against a team in a stadium where they're going to be absolutely full of confidence, and bearing in mind the travel and the time differences, it's going to be a massive challenge for us on Sunday. So today we're just going to be training light, recovering the players with a little bit of light training. They all worked really hard on Wednesday. They had a recovery day yesterday. Today's the day where we just need to make sure that everyone stays fit for selection, which we'll be making tomorrow. So I'm waffling on a bit now. So any questions?
Any question, please raise your hand. All right, we'll get started with Michelle, then Franco.
Hey, Phil, glad it sounds like you guys are having a good bonding time out there. What are some of the things you
said? My wife
said
that to me this morning, Michelle. She said exactly those words to me this morning.
That's right. Well, that's what you do when a bunch of guys are on the road together. We don't really want to know all the details, but no, I'm just kidding. You said you learned some stuff about the team just being together so long, having dinner together last night. What are, can you share with us a couple of things you learned?
Well, I think what you learn about people, because when you come into the training ground every single day, the main topic of conversation is mainly football. It's mainly tactics. It's mainly how you're feeling. It's mainly about the training that you're doing. When you take them into a different environment and you take the Inter Miami clothes off you and you put your jeans and your t-shirt on, you see different personalities and different characters within the squad. And what you see different types of people that are leading in certain areas, that are organising the meals, that are the energy in the group. And what I always find with these types of experiences and these types of trips, and bearing in mind I had this a lot with in international football, you have you have 10-day road trips as an international manager, even though maybe sometimes playing at home, you're always in a hotel somewhere, that you find out what makes people tick. You find out what people's insecurities are, or what their family is like and what their ambitions are, or even mundane things about, do they have a dog or a cat, or their dislikes and likes. And that is because you have more time to spend with people in a more relaxed environment, where ultimately they are having a conversation with a manager that's not based around selection. They're having a conversation with a person to person, rather than someone that's going to be judging them on their selection or their performance. So I always think that that's really valuable as a manager, to have these types of experiences. And we've waited a long time. If you look back to pre-season, when we went to Sarasota, which was going to be for 7 to 8 days, it only lasted 3 days because we had to come back because of COVID. So we missed out on these types of experiences in pre-season. And I just felt last night the atmosphere was really good. It was a time to allow them to relax and put their own clothes on, and to eat food that we probably wouldn't be putting on for them, and that sometimes is a big thing as well. Food is a big source of happiness. Let me tell you, when you're going on these road trips, or you're on international camps, that the one thing I would say that when I learned as a manager, as an international, is that you employ all these staff, but the most important person in the staff is the chef, because the chef and the food make you happy. And we had good food, and we had good conversations, and I feel as if the squad's in a really good place.
Next question, Franco, then Javier.
Thank you, Rafa. Hey, Phil, how you doing? Jet lagged at all?
Sorry?
Jet lagged at all?
Yeah, I've been up since 3.
Okay. I hope you guys stayed away from the Voodoo Donuts as well. I know that's a big thing in Portland. If you get a chance to sneak away, make sure you have one. Just wanted to ask you about the approach for this game, and obviously what remains of the season. I think anyone that's really followed the team closely, like most of us here have, know that the turnaround has come with the switching to the 5 at the back and the defensive solidity that's brought the team. But given the situation the team's in, needing to make up points, needing to make up ground, needing victories, how do you balance needing that defensive solidity or desiring that defensive solidity with needing to also make up points and find ways to score goals to win games? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. It's a question that we've been asking ourselves probably since the Nashville game, in terms of we're in a situation now where it's almost like it's a cup competition where we have to win games to get to where we want to get to. The gap we don't want to get too big, and the games in hand all of a sudden in the next 10 days will have gone. We'll all be on equal playing field in terms of games played. So to win games of football is really tough in this league. We found a system that was really good for us. We found a system that suited the players that we've got. And we found a system that got us a lot of victories in a short space of time. Ultimately, the last 3 games playing that same system, even though we tweaked it a little bit for the last game, we haven't found the results that we've wanted. So it's something that we are looking at. Ultimately, in the last 3 games, personnel has played a part in terms of the system. But now we've got everybody back. Ultimately, we need to put a team out to win games of football. And to win games of football, you need to keep clean sheets, you need to score goals. So we need to find the right balance. But I do feel as if the system does suit the players that we've got, particularly at the back. You think about the incredible form of Christian McCoon. I think playing on the left side of that defence really suits him. It gives him the security of having an extra person behind him, and it also gives him that it gives the team that confidence that he's got that left foot to come out. So we are looking at it. We're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, and we tend to only focus on ourselves in terms of what will give us the best opportunities to win games of football. And ultimately, what we need to do is we need to get as many goals on the pitch as possible. We need to get as many players on the pitch that can create chances or score chances, because ultimately that's what's going to get us to where we want to get to.
Next question, Javier.
Good morning, Mr. Neville.
Morning, Javier.
I hope that you have a great game on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
The team is just 7 points to the playoffs. In theory, you have enough points to get into the playoffs. What is the plan in order to cut a difference and to accomplish the objective?
Yeah, well, I think consistency now consistency in our performances. Reaching the level that we did against Atlanta, I think, is vital. If we play at the level we did against Atlanta in the remaining 8 games, then I think we've got a great chance of qualifying for the playoffs. If we drop below that, then it's going to be really difficult. And the players know that the level that they've set now is high. It's high. We've gone to a team and we've played well, playing a certain way, playing a certain level of performance. So I think consistency now to that performance, making sure that we can't afford players to miss games through suspension now. We've too many players have missed games through suspension this year, which has cost us dearly. Particularly in the previous 3 games, the suspensions have really cost us. So we need to keep everybody on the pitch. We need to make sure there's good discipline around the place. We need to make sure that our consistency in our performance level now doesn't drop. And if we do that, we know, you look at the other teams in the league. Orlando are on a little bit of a bad run. New York City have dipped. Columbus have come out of their dip, but they were on a 6-7 game losing streak. Montreal have dropped points in the last 2 or 3 games. So it's that time of the season where you've got to hang on in there and dig out results, grind out results, and win sometimes when you're not playing well, win sometimes when you've not got everybody available, win sometimes when everything doesn't go according to plan. It's more about the result than the performance at this stage of the season. And I'd say that any successful team in any part of the world, now is the time that you've got to show your qualities. Now is the time when all that training is got to come to fruition now, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's the demands that we're setting, and we're going to have obstacles along the way. We're going to go to New York Red Bulls in 10 days' time without players that are away on international duty. That's going to be a challenge for us, but now it's no excuses. We've just got to perform.
Last 2 questions, Michelle, and then Franco.
Phil, as far as the lack of scoring, you talked the other night about, just needing to be more ruthless, needing to have, I guess, more of a killer instinct in the box, making the correct right pass, having good vision. As you rewatched the game from the other night, what did you notice? What did you see? And how do you think you can correct it? It's, is it with the same personnel and just a different mentality, or do you change something? What did you see after you watched the game as far as the scoring goes?
Well, look, I watched the whole game back a couple of times yesterday, and it was really frustrating because we got in some really, really good positions. And I've got to say, the players that we expect to make the final pass, the players we expect to have that composure, didn't have the composure the other night. And those are demands that are going to be putting on the team today. Gonzalo, Rodolfo, Lewis, even Kieran when he gets into the final third. Robbie Robinson. These are players that have to start performing in the final third for us. And ultimately, it's as simple as that. Can we be more composed in the final third? Can we have the composure to play the extra pass? Can we pick the right pass? Because we're making good movements. We're getting to some really good positions. And then it comes down to how badly do we want to score? Because ultimately on the road, you're only going to get 3 or 4 chances in a game maximum. You're not going to create 9, 10 chances and have, you look back to the Toronto game at home when we probably had 8, 9 chances and we got careless. You have to take the opportunities that come your way. You think about the Robbie chance, you think about the Rodolfo chance, you think about the chance that Blaze maybe had in the first half. These are chances that you've got to take. You've got to take at least one of them, maybe 2. And that's the ruthlessness that I think that's been missing from us all season, the ruthlessness to have one chance score, because ultimately that's what teams have done to us. We've had games against take the New England game at home, and I've watched that game 1,000 times. Ultimately, they have 5 chances and they score 5 goals, and you think to yourself, we're playing okay in the game. You watch that game back, we're playing okay in the game. 20 minutes gone, we're holding our home, we're controlling the game. They get 3 chances and they're 3-0 up and we're going at half time and nobody's happy. But ultimately, that's the ruthlessness that the best teams have. And ultimately, the expectation now is that if you get a chance, stick it in the back of the net. If you get one opportunity to play the pass, you've got to make that pass and it's got to be right. Because there's no margin for error now for Inter Miami.
Last question, Franco.
Thank you, Rafa. Phil, just touching on something you touched on Wednesday. I'm still in Atlanta, so I've lost track of days. You touched on Rodolfo's performance there as an 8, more of a central midfielder. Thought he did really well. I was agreeing with you, just his ability to link up the defense to the attack, bring the ball forward, be it through passes or dribbles. And also he did a great job defensively in terms of maintaining his position. You said it was because of the matchup and maybe you've seen some things in Atlanta that you wanted to exploit, but you liked it. You said it was probably his best performance of the season. Is that something we could see from this team going forward and him in more of that 8 role in other matches, or is having him in a more advanced position because of the need for goals, the need for creativity? Is that something that maybe we'll see from Inter Miami this weekend and beyond? Thank you, Phil.
Well, I think if you look back, I think if Gregory Victor would have been available on Wednesday, I think I think Rodolfo would have been playing probably a little bit higher up in a more advanced position, maybe in a different type of system. So it was needs must on Wednesday, but what he showed was he showed an incredible desire and determination and discipline to play a role that is a massively important role when you play a 3 in midfield. When you look at a makeup of a 3 in midfield, I always think it's really important not to have the same types of players in the 8, the 10, and the 6. You've got to have different profiles in each position. And I felt on Wednesday we had different profiles in every position, which gave the midfield real good balance. You know, you had the aggression. You had the aggression of Blaze, you had the technical ability and passing style and be able to take the ball of Jay Chapman, and you had the creativity and a little bit different of a number 10 in the Rodolfo. So I feel as if when we're playing a 3 in midfield, I think to play a Gregory, a Victor and a Blaze in a midfield 3 would be probably a little bit one-dimensional. We might need that to shore up games or to manage games at certain times of the games. But in terms of where I want to take this team, I think we have to have some creativity in there as well. So I thought he did a brilliant job. And now my challenge to Rodolfo is that where can we get more goals from him? Where can we get more assists from him? Where can he have bigger impacts in the game? He impacted the game the other night from a discipline, determination, structural point. But ultimately, we want goals and assists from him. That's what he's paid to do. That's what Gonzalo's paid to do. That's what the forwards are paid to do. They are paid to win us games of football. So that's my challenge. That's the next step. I think we've rebuilt the confidence and belief in Rodolfo. I think there's a real confidence and belief coming back to him in himself. Now it's the next step is go and win as a game of football. Go and do to Portland or Red Bulls like you did to Chicago. You came on, won as a game of football. You won the next game against Toronto. Now we need that more often from these types of players. And if we do that, then we will qualify for the playoffs. And it's a big ask. It's a big challenge, but one I think that Rodolfo is more than willing to step up to. He's got the quality. He's got that ability. And now it's the platforms there for him to go and deliver.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.